Wow, Bigfoot Boy's out. What's up, everybody? Yeah. What's new? What's new? What's new? What's new? How we doing tonight? Sorry, everybody, I was late tonight. I had a bunch of stuff going on. My grandson wouldn't go to sleep, so, that happens. And it was brutal. And I just didn't get my stuff together and didn't have the stream together. So I got it together, and I started about, an hour and 45 minutes late from where I wanted to start, but 45 minutes from my normal. I usually Sundays were 11 o'clock, but whatever, we'll go. And then, but I'm well rested, and I got a whole bunch of stories, and we'll see how it goes. Saturday night did not work out well as far as the goal was concerned. We had set a goal for Saturday night of $100, and we didn't even come close, so we only went about 2.5, 3 hours. So tonight I lowered it to $75. So we'll see. If we can get to $75 before we hit 2 hours, then we'll go for another 3-4 hours and cover all the stories we didn't get to. So we'll see how it works. Let's say hello to everyone who's here tonight. We got Sharon Taylor. How you doing? Sharon Tyler. I'm sorry. Kevin. How you doing, Kevin? I am Bob. What's up? Critter Sitter. Hello. Marjorie Smith. Dan Blackroyd. Always great to see you from down under. None your business. Good evening. So, hello, Mika. How we doing? Hey, mother of Papillon, how you doing? Let's jump right into the first story, which is and then and then I don't know if you guys noticed any of the people. You're just here playing World of Warcraft, Phil Coggins. That's awesome. I tried this new program that I was able to actually make shorts out of videos that were longer than 2 hours. I had to pay to do it, but so I put a bunch out today, and I put some other ones out, and then I put some out that were members only, and they'll be members only for about 48 to 72 hours, and then they'll go to everyone else. So if you're a member, you'll get to see them first. And I'm going to do some more tomorrow, and the next, like every couple days, I'll like maybe because I don't know if I don't want to. Oh, yeah, I know how to pronounce Papillon. Okay, yeah. So hey, Daniel Gygax, how you doing, everyone? And say hi to Daniel Gygax, the long lost son of Gary Gygax, founder of D&D. I know, I know it's not. You're not related to him, Daniel. I just think it's funny. Not funny like that, but funny like because I've never, Gygax is not very. Hey, look at that, Kevin Pastrana, Kevin with $5, so a little bit closer. That's right, we are one step closer. So 14 more $5 super chats or anything of, or Rumble Rants or anything, any denomination. We will add it up, and once we pass $75, we will go for 4 hours. Kevin K, Critter Sitter, how we doing? How we doing? So, the first story. Doug Burgum just declared war on wind and solar. Ooh. His new order slams environmentally damaging renewables and says what no one else will. Wind is 5,500 times less efficient than nuclear. Oh, well, I appreciate it. Said I'll be asleep way before 2 hours, but I was like, well, that's good. But yeah, so let me know actually too, because I don't know if the members and stuff, if you guys, I did a bunch of, like I said, the shorts, I put them out, and then I did some that were members only. Let me know how that works. If you like that, if you don't like that, if you want something else for members only, I don't know. But we'll keep working on getting some stuff. So, a thread on the boldest move yet in the Trump's energy revolution. Look at those guys and the girl just looking at. Oh yeah, hey, look at the panels. Department of Interior begins elevated reviews of wind and solar products. Doug Burgum will begin an elevated review process. Okay, so Burgum's Department of Interior just dropped the hammer. Wind equals 0.006 megawatts per acre. Nuclear is 33.17 megawatts per acre. That's 5,500 times more efficient. Why should we be wasting millions of acres of federal land for unreliable power? We shouldn't. Well, I believe me, I wanted to stream earlier. It takes me almost 2 hours to get the stream ready together, to get all the links together for the stream. So, that's all. It's not, I can't just pop it on and go. I have to, stuff that I have to do to get it going. The Trump administration just made land efficiency law. Going forward, the Department of Interior must only permit energy projects that are optimal for land use, high in energy density, and minimal in environmental impact. That means fewer wind farms, fewer solar sprawl fields, and more gas and nukes. Cool. This is the beginning of the end of the green boondoggles on federal land. No more crony carve-outs, no more special treatment, no more climate excuses. It's a direct hit on the Green New Deal and a massive win for real energy dominance. America's energy, world's powerhouse, yes. Why now? Because the Biden regime left America on the brink of energy collapse. 104 gigawatts of reliable generation, coal, gas, nuclear, is being retired. No firm replacement is in sight. Grid outages could soar from single digits to 800 plus hours a year. Wow, that's a lots of hours. Trump declared a national energy emergency in January. He warned that the Biden's unreliable grid, foreign-sourced solar, and collapsing capacity were putting lives and national security at risk. Burgum is carrying out that order decisively. Trump declared a national emergency on my first day. This isn't just about energy. It's about land, sovereignty, and national strength. Wind and solar destroy the landscapes, displace wildlife, depend on China, and fail in bad weather. That's right, because we actually, if you guys remember, there was a video last night that was like the Saturday night, the starting video was Trump talking about wind, how he hates wind. He doesn't want no more wind. Nuclear gas, natural gas and nuclear work 24/7. They use less land and they're made in America. Sierra Club is furious. They want your tax dollars to fund fields of Chinese solar panels and forests of bird-killing wind turbines. But Burgum just said, no more. No more subsidies. No more fake solutions. No more land waste. No more dead birds. Yeah, that story is coming up real quick. Texas stuff. I think that's actually that's actually the next story. which is coming up real quick. So I can actually that's got that. This. Wait, was that last night or was that Friday night? I guess that was Friday night. Hmm. Where the hell did that video go? Was it that? Man, maybe am I losing my mind? I must be going crazy. Sorry, I can't believe I can't find that. Can't believe I can't find the story. Huh. Yeah, here it is. Sorry. Here it is. The Trump administration cancels plans for new wind and energy products in federal water. So the Trump administration did this. This was Thursday. No wonder I couldn't find it. Offshore wind leases. They canceled all the wind leases. Mm-hmm. And EPA plans to overturn a scientific finding used to regulate carbon emissions. That's right. That's a good thing. So they want to regulate that. Hi, Kim. Hi, Renee. How are we doing? So that's good. So here, let's go ahead and do this. Oh, here we go. This is the second story. Texas Dems flee the state to prevent the vote on the new GOP House map that adds 5 Republican districts. House Speaker Dustin Burrows says all options will be on the table tomorrow at 3 p.m. if quorum is not met. What they can do, they can issue a call to the House that compels the presence legally of absent House members via the Sergeant of Arms and track them down. Yeah, the whales are winning too by getting rid of those, definitely. The story I was missing was I was looking for the wind stuff. I thought it was, I didn't realize it was Thursday. I had to go back looking through show prep for 3 days to find that stuff about the other stuff that Trump said it. Now the Department of Interior is basically doubling down. It's not going to issue permits for the build the stuff on the land. So Texas Democrats fleeing to broad quorum as political theater. But let's cut through the noise. Mid-decade redistricting is pure power grabbing, and both parties are guilty. The GOP map adds 5 seats through gerrymandering, while Dems weaponize quorum breaks instead of fighting in court. Taxpayers foot the bill for these games. $500 a day in fines per lawmaker, endless special sessions, and redistricting arms race that could trigger blue states like California to retaliate. Well, technically, I don't know what's going on with Doge AI lately. They're not actually using facts because California can't just retaliate because they would have to amend their constitution in California to do it because the voters voted on it and they put it in the constitution that they can't do it. So anyway, the real issue, both sides exploit procedural chaos to rig the system, wasting millions on partisan battles instead of letting voters pick their reps. Until we ban mid-cycle map changes and enforce neutral redistricting, the circus will continue burning your cash. Well, I could kind of agree with that, but it just seems like he's kind of Doge AI is kind of every once in a while he says some stuff that kind of makes me go, "What is this?" The Texas House Redistricting Committee just passed a new map that adds up to 5 Republican House seats for 2026. It's happening. Look at that. Well, Texas looks a lot more red than they claim it is, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Texas and America needs. Mm-hmm. This is breaking. Dozens of Texas lawmakers will now flee the state to avoid Republicans in the legislature to pass the map. They want to break quorum. Paxton has stated plainly if they do this, they will be arrested. FAFO time. They're going to Illinois. Mm-hmm. They will head to Illinois, where J.B. Pritzker has expressed sympathy for their flight. But Illinois is like one of the worst gerrymandered states there is. So that's what's weird. That's odd. That's odd. That's odd. Justin Abbott says he may treat fleeing lawmakers as having forfeited their offices and move to replace them. He also suggested they could be subject to felony charges if they accept payments to cover impending fines. Wow. This is a what the hell was that all about? Real Texans do not run from a fight, but that's exactly what most of the House Democrats just did. Rather than doing their job and voting on urgent legislation, they have fled Texas to deprive the House of quorum. These absences are not merely unintended and unavoidable interruptions of public service, like a sudden illness. Instead, these absences were premeditated for an illegitimate purpose. One representative called breaking quorum. Another previously signaled that Democrats would have to go by an extreme measure of a quorum break to stop these bills. In other words, Democrats hatched a deliberate plan not to show up for work for the specific purpose of advocating their duties to office and thwarting the chamber's business. This amounts to abandonment or forfeiture of the elected state office. When the governor calls a special session, the Constitution provides the legislature shall meet. It's not optional, it's a duty. The absconded Democrat House members were elected to meet and vote on legislation, not to prevent votes that may not go their way. Every session, legislators on both sides of the aisle found themselves on the losing side of a legislative vote. Every session, most of the legislature finds a way to disagree agreeably. To disagree agreeably? That doesn't make any sense. To behave like adults. Truancy ends now. The derelict House members must return to Texas and be in attendance when the House reconvenes at 3 p.m. Monday. For any member who fails to do so, I will invoke Texas Attorney General opinion to remove the missing Democrats from membership in the Texas House. In that opinion, the Attorney General considered whether Texas law allows for a determination that the legislature has vacated office if they intentionally break quorum. The Attorney General concluded that whether a state-specific legislature abandons his or her office such that a vacancy occurred will be the question for a court. He further concluded through a court warranted action, the district court may determine the legislature has forfeited his or her office to abandonment. And empowers me to swiftly fill vacancies under the Texas Constitution. Oof. In addition to abandoning offices, these legislators may also have committed felonies. Many absentee Democrats are soliciting funds to evade the fines. Any Democrat who solicits, accepts, or agrees to accept such funds to assist in violation of legislative duties or for the purpose of skipping a vote violated bribery laws. Wow. The same could be true for any person who offers, confers, or agrees to confer such funds to fleeing Democrats. They lose their full extradition authority to demand a return to Texas any potential out-of-state felons. Oof. Man. The policy, which has been in effect more than 60 years, is based on effect Attorney General opinions, unlike those court laws, are advisory in nature. By contrast, court decisions are binding. Okay, so we'll have to see what happens with that. The opinion by Paxton explicitly takes no position on whether breaking quorum is unconstitutional because, as Paxton said, it was tied up in litigation at the time. Okay. Paxton's. This is update. They left. Just fled the state to prevent a vote. The House Speaker is likely considering a call of the House. Paxton will follow through. He's the real deal. It says breaking 51 House Democrats, Texas Democrats flee in an effort to stop redistricting. All now face a manhunt plus arrest. Let's see what this says.
This is State Representative James Tallarico from Texas. If you're seeing this video, my Democratic colleagues and I have just left our beloved state to break quorum and stop Trump's redistricting power grab. This is State Representative James Tallarico.
Oh, so he's telling exactly what he's doing to break quorum. Are they really this stupid? the violation of quorum, it's illegal what they did. I thought Democrats always claimed no one was above the law. No one's above the law, 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 no one's above the law. Hilarious are fleeing Texas to protest gerrymandering that they're seeking refuge in a state that is the definition of corruption. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Raw. This gerrymander here this is like 400 miles long, 500 miles. That should, and then this one, it goes like this, and this should be, here, if the, I don't know. Yeah. And pulled the same stunt in 2021. In 2021, they walked 50 Democrat House reps, fled to D.C. Abbott called a special session. Dems couldn't sustain the lock. Reps reconvened, and the bill passed. That's what's going to happen again, more than likely. And Greg Abbott says he will remove office any Democrats who do not show up tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And Paxton says, I support the immediate arrest of these rogue lawmakers who fled their duties. These radical Democrats are spitting in the face of every Texan they swore to represent. This is cowardice and dereliction of duty, and they should face the full force of law without apology. Yeah, right. They redistrict him right out of office by doing the crazy gerrymandering. It says the Texas House will be convening at 3 p.m. tomorrow. If quorum is not present then, to borrow recent talking points from some of my Democrat colleagues, all options will be on the table. If members flee the state for an extended period, U.S. governor have the constitutional authority to declare their seats vacant under Texan election code. This would lower the quorum threshold and allow the House to act. Burroughs is covering for them. Why did he put the same Democrat who told Democrats to flee on the redistricting committee? He is sabotaging the vote to have Abbott vacate their chairs. Enough. Yeah, there is about a weird shit going on too in the Texas House where I saw a lot of stuff where they put Democrats in charge and they did weird stuff. Like the Speaker of the Texas House only got his seat because Democrats voted for him. Yeah, they've done it quite a few times in Texas. But I think they've changed the law in Texas now to make it a crime. You know, and on to another, it's tangential to that. It's Jasmine Slavey Crockett says that it's now sounding the alarm that the new Texas U.S. House map will make her lose her seat. It just keeps getting better. Look at that. Well, there you have it. Congressman Jasmine Crockett, stripped of any government involvement, now has to go back to the hood. Congress has a ghetto trash problem. Sounds good to me. Well, let's see. Well, man, now I'm getting mad. I swore she was talking in one of these videos. Mm-hmm. Yeah, here. Yeah, here. This says, I demand to talk to your supervisor. I thought they had her talking, though. New map will move Crockett's home out of her district / Dem seats. Crockett said she asked to verify her address before Republicans unveiled the congressional redistricting proposal. Austin, Rio Grande Valley. Let's see.
You've done so much, Pops. Any words of wisdom?
Oh, I hate these ads. I should get ad blocker, I guess. We'll just sit here and wait while this guy eats this chicken wing from Golden Corral.
Are in full freak-out mode over Texas' proposal for a new congressional map. If it passed, the map would create 5 districts Trump carried by double digits in 2024 and help the GOP retain their House majority. It makes areas in the Rio Grande Valley redder, packs Democrat-controlled districts, making them bluer, and creates.
Can you guys hear it?
Republican.
I boosted it up to 500%.
So, amidst all the freak out, let's take a look at some of the examples of Democrats gerrymandering. Let's head over to the wall. First up, let's take a look at Maryland. In 2016, Republicans won 37% of statewide votes for the U.S. House in Maryland, but they only got 1 out of 8 seats because of the way the congressional districts are drawn in Maryland. Maryland's not the only one. It also has occurred in California, in Illinois, and across the country. Let's show you exactly, though. Let's scoop in on Maryland, take a look exactly how they drew these districts. I think if you can, I don't know how tightly you can see this or come in on this, but you can see the 3rd Congressional District in Maryland. I mean, it's got lines going every which way. All the way around Annapolis, it's shaped something like, I don't know how to describe that, like a serpent. Or the 4th Congressional District, look at this, winding its way around, trying to get closer to Annapolis. That's the definition of gerrymandering, making geographically odd districts to get the voting base exactly how you want it. By the way, in 2022, it got struck down so bad, a court took the map and called it illegal. But this is Illinois. They're also guilty of gerrymandering. Their 2020 map, it drew Dems, it wiped away all 3 toss-up districts in the state, and even threw out 1 solid Republican district, giving them almost a net of 4 new seats in Illinois. So why the freak out over the Texas map? Joining me now is Texas Public Policy Foundation Vice President Chuck DeVore. Chuck, it's great to see you. There's a lot of freak out because it's potentially the case that Republicans can pick up 5 seats in the House if Texas is successful in redrawing its map. But has Texas done something different than any of these other states?
No, Texas is not doing anything different at all. And in fact, other states have done mid-decade redistricting. You saw that in Pennsylvania in 2018. Look, this is all about politics. It's all about power. If you look at Texas today and what they propose, once Texas is done, if in fact this gets passed, and that's an open question, by the way, then Texas will still not quite be as gerrymandered as California. So even with all that effort, California still
gerrymandered
more votes per seat than would the proposed Texas seats.
And help me quantify that. Something like 40% of the voting base in California actually is Republican, but some small percentage of House seats from California are Republican.
Yeah, it's about 18%. And what Governor Gavin Newsom is proposing to do is to overturn the will of the people. There is an quasi-independent redistricting commission that was put in place through a ballot initiative. And what he's proposing is to blow that up, to somehow challenge it. I really think it's just about his presidential campaign aspirations, by the way. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. But he wants to squeeze another 5 seats out of the current majority. The majority is 43 Democrat seats to 9 Republican seats. He wants to, I think, to take that down to 4.
I took a look at the Texas map, and I mean, it does, though, make some geographic sense.
Yeah.
The whole idea of gerrymandering or gerrymandering is that you draw, nonsensical lines to get the outcome that you want. And then once you get into urban areas, it's harder. It gets a little different. But if I took a look at California, I mean, what does that look like?
Yeah, so again, a good question. Usually with the bigger states, you have more real estate that you can work with. California, under the Independent Commission, does try to keep communities of interest together. And interestingly enough, the proposed Texas map would increase the number of majority-minority districts. It would increase the number of Hispanic majority districts, and it would create 2 black majority districts where today there are none.
Well, Chuck DeVore of the Texas Public Policy Foundation, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's read what this says. It says a gerrymander. No, come get out of here.
Buffalo wings, garlic parmesan.
A gerrymander map proposed by the Texas GOP would kick firebrand Democrat Rep. Jasmine Amy Crockett out of her own district and likely add more House seats to the Lone Star Republican delegation. Last week, Texas House Republicans introduced a redistricting proposal that could net 5 new GOP seats. And I just want to say this right now. My personal opinion on this gerrymandering and all this stuff is I think it should be illegal across the board. I don't think you should be able to draw any maps like this. I personally think that all the maps, they should just be like you start in the top left corner of the state and you just start extending down, diagonally until you get the number of people, and then you just go, and then that's what you do. You just make straight lines. I don't think there should be any of this zigzag. It's just be like, go, go, go. You got the people. That's it. And whoop, that's it. And it should be the same. And it shouldn't be any type of this stuff in any state. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? And let the chips fall where they may as far as representation goes. Because you just go, and then it would basically, when you get to a high populous area, it would be that. It would be the way it is. So I don't think there should be any of this crazy drawing. That's my personal opinion. I think maybe we should have a constitutional amendment in the country that says this shit is can't work. But anyway, last week they introduced a redistricting proposal that could net 5 new GOP seats. The draft congressional map, which is likely to change before approval by both state House chambers, aims to redraw district lines to include more Republican-leaning areas and Democrat stronghold like Dallas and Houston. Again, this is it's more complicated than that, especially when you get to large cities, as districts are 280,000 to 300,000 per district. Actually, I thought it was more than that. I thought it was almost 700,000 per district now. But yeah, no, I'm just saying there should be like a grid or something where it's just like squares or blocks, like little squares, like boop, 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 little squares, just boink, 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 and that should be it. It shouldn't be this like Illinois and California. None of it shouldn't be any of this crazy stuff. It should be as close to like it should look like a piece of a geometrical pattern that you can identify and go like, oh, that's a square. Oh, that's an octagon. Oh, that's whatever, it's a decadihydrogen or whatever one of them things are called, or 62-sided things or something. I don't know. Crockett, who serves Texas's 30th congressional district, which represents a large part of Dallas, has called a redistricting effort a power grab to silence voters. The map you saw eliminates District 30, which is Crockett. Well, that's too bad. That's too bad, Crockett. Mm-hmm. She claimed that before Republicans unveiled the map, she was asked to verify her address alongside other incumbent Democrat members of Congress. Hey, Tay Marius, how you doing? Tay Marie, U.S., how you doing? Sorry, I forgot. Are they paying their own flights out of their pockets? Taxpayers have to pay for not being represented. Well, see, that's another thing is what they're saying is that they, if anyone's paying, or if anyone pays them money or gives them money, they're saying that that's a crime. So, typically, you would use existing political lines in one district, full county, then full township, then full cities, but large cities may need to be divided. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't have like these lines where you go and when you're cutting through towns. Like there's lines, if I'm not mistaken, that they redrew, that they did in Louisiana, that are one house wide, that they did to do stuff to try and because they had to add minority majority districts, which kind of to me sounds like that's race-based, which can't be legal. Abbott's letter? Yeah, we read the letter. It said that they'll try to put him, yeah, she doesn't live in her district. Mm-hmm. The rare mid-decade redistricting effort may also force some Democrat lawmakers into primary battles against fellow incumbents as seats become more limited. For example, if the map were adopted, Rep. Lloyd Doggett, who currently represents the 37th district in Austin, would be placed in the same district as Rep. Greg Cesar, who serves the neighboring 35th district, each anchored in Austin. Last week, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called fighting the proposed map an all-hands-on-deck moment. Florida to the Tuba courts agree with the new maps. I mean, I don't. I don't like the idea of drawing lines and saying you're going to do it by race, because to me that sounds really messed up, especially since we're all integrated pretty much now. We don't have like large communities of segregated people. You have different race people all living together, mixed together in cities and towns all over the place. So it just kind of, to me, seems like that whole stuff that they did, in the 1940s and 50s when there was a lot of segregation, doesn't make sense today. That was 75 years ago. It needs to stop. Yeah. It's racist. It's totally racist. Yeah, and we don't have large blocks of racist people either. It's true. So, I mean, it's time that this stuff ends. It should just be straight lines and whatever it is. Just let the people vote. Yeah, Brockett did a show on it. SCOTUS looking to get rid of the districts based on race. Yeah, it's well, they were supposed to rule on it already, and then they punted, and Clarence Thomas was not happy and basically did a dissent. But it's looking like they're gonna knock it down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will fight them politically. We will fight them governmentally. We will fight them in the court. We will fight them in terms of winning the hearts and minds of the people in Texas and beyond, Jeffrey said. Jeffrey said that while corporations and universities fall in line with Trump, Texas Democrats will not bend the knee. Well, on stage with JB. Is he on stage with JB Pritzker? No, I see Al Green. I see Cesar. I don't see JB Pritzker. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jeffrey said, well, yeah. Standing alongside Jeffries, Texas Democrat Rep. Lizzie Fletcher warned that redistricting efforts like those in the Lone Star State could spread nationwide. The Democrats have already done all this. It's been shown. They did it in Illinois. That's when they got rid of Kinzinger's district. They redistrict Illinois. They redistrict California to get rid of seats. They've done it. Look at Maryland. Look at Massachusetts. Look at Rhode Island. Look at every district, every state that's controlled by Democrats. Look at New Mexico. How did New Mexico, that Republicans basically, look at New Mexico, there's like 3 seats, all Democrat, and yet Republicans won statewide. For that was something like weird. Was it New Mexico? There's states like that where like zero Republican congressmen in the state, yet they won, 49% of the vote. It's like, wait, how is this possible? Mm-hmm. It's Jamal Kroll is what's going on now. Yeah. And Leslie, Congressman Wesley Hunt, awesome guy from Texas. And that's another thing too. That's just like, look, you got Wesley Hunt, a black man. He's a Republican. So what? He should have to be in a Democrat. It doesn't make sense. My congressman is Byron Donalds. All right. His district is not a majority black district, yet it elected a black congressman. So this whole thing about you have to have a minority district to get black congressmen is baloney. Is a bunch of crap. Is it just me, or has the Democrat Party become completely unrecognizable? They trash our flag, rewrite our history, and twist every issue into a race war. This isn't the party of JFK anymore. It's the party of division, hatred, and anti-American rot. Don't take my word for it. Listen to them. Well, Steve, it was a late show, so it just started less than 45 minutes ago. 40 minutes ago it started, so don't worry about it. But let's see what these voices of reason, these Democrat voices of reason.
I am so tired of white men failing up.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America.
To have a democracy for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries.
I mean, they hate this country so much, yet they are representing their district, and there's only 435 people of us that are in this position. This country is so heinous, and it is so bad to you that you have the honor of being a United States congressman in this great nation. So again, I really wish that most of them would just say thank you and be on their merry way. I also want people to understand that we have this free country because people died for it. You should be very grateful that there are people that are willing to raise their hand to defend this country against all enemies, both foreign and domestic, and we volunteered our lives for us to live in a free country. So there's a lack of appreciation. There are a lot of people that love this country, that are willing to fight for this country. And this is why 77 million people voted for President Trump. What I get to do is be a voice for many when they feel like their voices and their opinions are suppressed. That's why President Trump is back in office. And so once they start seeing people like me, people then realize, well, you know what? Maybe this country isn't so bad after all.
This country isn't so bad after all. You know? Mm-hmm. The only people who vote Democrat these days are communists, illegal immigrants, and dead people. Yeah, Democrats, don't you die. I mean, we still need you to vote. We still need to use you. Oh, no. Yeah. Socialists, baby communists continue to eat the Democrat Party from the inside out. This is their plan and call for expansion. And Zoran didn't win by relying on standard turnout patterns. He had to fundamentally transform the Democrat electorate. Yeah, so he had to go and got... I mean, yeah, he won, but he got 500. He got less than 10% of the vote in New York. I mean, that's what's ridiculous. Wow. Wait, why is it showing me I have two things? That's weird. All right, on to the next story. That was weird. It was showing me I had multiple things shared, and I don't know why. So it says Colorado deputy could face a massive $50,000 fine for sharing information with federal immigration authorities. Yeah. This is crazy. You know, he stopped an illegal alien who's fraudulently claimed asylum from Brazil. Brazil's a tourist destination hotspot with the same travel advisory as France, Italy, and UK. She needs to be arrested for immigration fraud and deported. Yeah, this is Brazilian people. Yeah, she should pay it. DH should refund his money and then withhold $100,000 from Colorado. Whoever tries to issue the fine should immediately be arrested for interfering with ICE, intimidation of others. I think they're violating his First Amendment rights. I mean, he needs to sue. I think it would be a First Amendment. Someone needs to be saying it's a First Amendment thing. He's allowed to say something. Colorado deputies could face massive fine for sharing information with immigration authorities. Mesa County Sheriff's deputy shared information with federal agents in alleged violation of sanctuary law. Oh, manhunter way. What's this? Black Forest, Colorado. Oh, let's look. Let's see.
For years, I've been that person who just picks up and goes. Solo travel across country.
Let's turn to Bill Malugin, who is live in Los
Why
Angeles.
is it so quiet?
With the latest. Bill.
Well, Emily, it's really rare for an ICE agent to have to fire their weapon on the job, but it did happen yesterday after ICE says two illegal aliens tried to run over their agents with their vehicle while they were trying to arrest them. So this all happened in Colorado Springs after
sounds like prior restraint to me too.
Office reportedly targeted illegal aliens at a construction site. Now, after the attempted vehicle ramming, ICE says one of their agents shot at those aliens in self-defense, but they escaped in a vehicle which they later abandoned, and they are now officially on the run, with a manhunt underway for them as we speak. ICE says, as you mentioned, thankfully there were no injuries.
Definitely, when they charge them, it's definitely direct interference.
Attempted to ram their vehicle into ICE officers during a targeted enforcement operation in Colorado Springs, July 31st. As a result of their violent actions and to protect the officers and agents on site, an officer fired 3 shots into the vehicle. The aliens fled and later abandoned the vehicle. Law enforcement officials are currently searching.
I'm using right now. I'm using StreamYards, and then it's a software that from the site. But I have a audio volume master. It's called Volume Master, Volume Blaster, or something that I'm using to boost the signal up. SB Farmer. Can you not hear it? Is it not loud enough? Because I can turn it up a little bit more. I mean, I have it up 500%. I could go higher.
Searching for the fugitives. Now, The nearby area was placed on a brief shelter-in-place order during the manhunt, with one local resident saying he does support immigration, but only if it's legal.
I'm not against immigration when it's done legally. You know, welcome people to come here to bring their skills, talents, and find the opportunities here, but you got to do it the right way.
And again, this number just keeps going up, but ICE reports that assaults against their agents are now up a staggering 830% over the same time period last year. And the agency says that's all because of this constant rhetoric we're hearing from politicians demonizing ICE every single day, sometimes calling them Nazis, Gestapo, kidnappers, terrorists. They say sometimes that translates into attempted violence like we saw in this incident. We'll send it back to you.
Bill, thank you. I want to start with you, Laura, because you've had so many interviews with these ICE agents and law enforcement.
I use StreamYard. I don't use OBS, but I don't know.
Well, listen, you heard 830% increase in assaults on ICE agents, and
Okay.
we have never.
Yeah, so we have this. So we have this massive.
Just like this. That's what they say. They've never felt.
Massive stuff. So let's read the story though. Manhunt underway. So this is what's going on in Colorado. You got these people that are attacking ICE agents, doing all this stuff, and then we got this. We got an officer sued by Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser for allegedly sharing information with federal immigration agents in violation of state law continues to be under investigation, but he could face a hefty fine. The complaint filed against the deputy is a civil lawsuit. It says violations of this law can result in injunction and civil penalties up to $50,000. Lawrence Pacheco, Director of Communications at the Colorado Attorney General's office, sent an email to Fox News on Friday. Mesa County Sheriff's Deputy Alexander Zwink and another deputy were disciplined by the Sheriff's Office for allegedly sharing information with federal immigration agents on a drug task force during a Brazilian college student's arrest for an expired visa, according to Associated Press. See, they said they didn't share it with the with immigration. They said they shared it with DEA or someone else that were part of a task force. Mesa County Sheriff Todd Rowell said Caroline Diaz Goncalves, a 19-year-old nursing student, was pulled over by Zwink for a traffic stop June 5th after she was allegedly driving too close to a semi-truck. While Diaz Goncalves was released with a warning after about 20 minutes, federal immigration agents stopped her and arrested her shortly after. Well, I'm sick. All these people that are here with these weird asylum claims, but they all got to go. They all have to go home. He was placed on 3 weeks unpaid leave, and Eric also was placed on 2 weeks unpaid leave. Rowell said a statement. Both were removed from the task force. 2 supervisors were also disciplined, with one suspended without pay for 2 days and another receiving a letter of reprimand. The third supervisor received counseling. Based on our findings, the Mesa County Sheriff's Office should not have had any role in the chain of events leading to Ms. Diaz Goncalves' detention. And I regret that this occurred. I apologize to Ms. Diaz Goncalves. Mesa County Sheriff Todd Rowell said in a statement on Wednesday. Well, he sounds like a real puss. I push for collaboration with state and federal partners to solve crime in our community. In the area of drug interdiction, HSI has been our primary federal law enforcement partner. Although discussions were had with HSI supervisor in months preceding this incident to ensure my deputies would not be involved in immigration enforcement, the administration reviews showed that those lines of collaboration were crossed. Jared Polis signed legislation earlier this year that prevents local governments from sharing immigration information with immigration officials at the federal level. Basically, the new law gives a narrow exception for Colorado law enforcement to cooperate with federal government if ICE or the Department of Homeland Security asks for assistance in a particular crime investigation. However, there's an absolute ban on local law enforcement proactively notifying DHS if they discover a violent criminal or repeat felon is here illegally. If they report to ICE anyway, they will face a $50,000 fine. So, see, Democrats always say, oh, they're against people, the criminals, but right here, they passed a law saying you can't tell them if the criminal is illegal. And so and also they can't even ask. So how would they know if someone's illegal? So when they tell you that the numbers that illegals don't commit crimes at the same rates as natural born citizens, well, here's your proof that they're lying to you because they refuse to collect the data. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The law preventing law enforcement from cooperating with federal government in many circumstances was blasted by Rep. Gabe Evans, Colorado, a former police officer. As a former cop, I know firsthand how Colorado's sanctuary laws has flipped the switch on crime, handcuffing police instead of criminals. Let me be clear, our state's leftist laws don't prioritize public safety. They prioritize political games. Well, maybe they need to Maybe they need to elect some different people in Colorado. It sounds like to me. Mm-hmm. And on the opposite spectrum, we have Florida. And it says DeSantis, Florida has arrested nearly 3,000 migrants. And by migrants, they mean illegal aliens. Mm-hmm. Really concentrate the blue areas. Can't have illegals voting. Double check voter rolls too. Florida. Yeah, but way to go. Mm-hmm. Florida has arrested nearly 3,000 migrants. It should say illegal aliens. I don't know why. I don't know how the $50,000 fine could be illegal. I think it has to go to the. I think it would have to go to the. Going to have to get challenged up in the court. It's going to end up at the Supreme Court, and it's possible that. I would think that the U.S. Supreme Court is going to say you can't. If a cop wants to tell a federal agent, a federal law enforcement officer, that someone is breaking federal law, they can do it. You can't tell them they can't. You can just have a policy of you not doing it, but you can't go after somebody for for notifying somebody of someone who's breaking the law. That seems like that's basically you're outlawing people reporting law breaking. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said on Friday that the state law enforcement officers have apprehended almost 3,000 illegal aliens. See, illegal aliens. What they can call them migrants. Legal aliens. It ain't no fun being an illegal alien. With 500 of them having criminal records. DeSantis also said at a news conference in Orlando that 600 of them have been processed through the detention facility known as Alligator Alcatraz. In the Everglades, a prison has drawn protests from Democrats concerned with what they term as human rights violations. Yeah, I agree, Alligator News. It's an excessive fine, and it's also prior restraint. The Highway Patrol has also created a new immigration enforcement section within the Bureau of Criminal Investigations. The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services Division Commissioner Walter Simpson said that law enforcement branch is building a new interdiction station at US 231 at the Alabama-Florida border. He said the agency's law enforcement officers are acting as a force multiplier for local and federal partners involved in immigration enforcement efforts. According to DeSantis, 1,800 Florida Highway Patrol officers as of Friday have received their training and credentials as immigration officers under the 287G agreement with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Second-term GOP governor also said that 100 troopers have been deputized as U.S. Marshals, allowing them to carry out federal search warrants. Supposedly they've got the money in the BBB to do it, so we'll see if they don't do it. I mean, they can't. Personally, I don't understand why they can say that they only have a goal of 1 million illegals a year. To me, it should be 4 million a year because, back in the 50s, Eisenhower was able to get 1.4 million illegals out in 3 months in the 50s. So I think we should be able to get them way more faster outers today. DeSantis said he's considering adding Camp Blanding, the Florida National Guard primary training facility in north central Florida, as a possible site to detain people illegally in the country. Former presidential candidate says that all 67 of Florida's county sheriffs are participating in the 287G program. There's no other state in the country that can match our efforts. Exactly. Welcome to Florida. Now go home. Hey, Cheesecake, what's up? How you doing? Deputize all American citizens, I say. Ooh, that would work. I don't think you've seen any state in the country work more closely with federal agencies to fulfill our very key mission, a mandate from the American people after the 2024 election to get this job done. So we're showing that it can be done. So we can sit on our hands and watch problems not get solved, or we can be part of the solution and help lead the effort among the states to get the job done. DeSantis cited Operation Tidal Wave as one example of how cooperation with state, local, and federal law enforcement agencies is helping enforce the nation's immigration law. Operation Tidal Wave was executed by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and state and local enforcement in South Florida in April that arrested 1,120 people suspected of illegally entering the country, the most in the agency's history in one state. The 287G program is named after the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1996, 8 U.S.C. 1357, Section 287G1, which authorizes ICE to delegate to state and local law enforcement officers the authority to perform specified immigration functions only under ICE's direction and supervision. Foreign, state, and local law enforcement officers have the ability under 287G to interrogate any suspects on immigration status. And if they're in violation of the country's immigration law, they can be further detained and processed. Feel free to talk. Listening and playing Panzer Corps, feel free to talk about me. Okay. Why would I talk about you? Everglades, Alcatraz is located in, I thought it was Alligator Alcatraz. Located at Dade County Training and Transition Airport, owned by Miami-Dade County, and is located roughly 60 miles east of Miami near Everglades National Park. It has a capacity to handle up to 1,000. I thought they said it could handle 5,000 there. Yeah, bounties would work great, I think. She says, I'm not talking to anyone here. Oh, I didn't know you were so mean. This next story is extremely upsetting. An Islamic center in St. Paul, Minnesota has written a letter begging for a reduced sentence for a Somali immigrant, Kwalinlai Ibrahim Badi, who was sentenced to 12 years for abducting and assaulting a 12-year-old girl. So they only sentence in Minnesota, if you abduct and assault a girl, they sentence you 1 year for every year they are old. So if he would have did it to a 6-year-old, he would have only got 6 years. So 12 years for a 12-year-old. Because he was overcoming the challenges of a new culture, you see. See, in his culture in Somalia, they could just rape girls. They just kidnap them and abduct them and rape them. And I didn't call her mean. I just said, she said she's not talking to anyone here. And I said, did I say mean? Oh, well. I'm okay with no more jail time for him. Yes. A 42-year-old Somali man abducted and raped a 12-year-old girl who was playing in her backyard in Minnesota. This is the Islamic Center that wrote a letter in support of him, stating that he's a family man who had to overcome the challenges of a new culture. Alligator Alcatraz is just a transition point. Get detained, have counsel, get flown out. What do you mean? The Nazis are invading the East Coast? What? Where? Oh, okay, never mind. A Panzer Corps. Okay, I get it now. Now I get it. It's
This is Savannah Hernandez standing in front of the Al Hassan Islamic Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. Now, I'm standing here because this mosque has made national headlines after they penned a letter of community support for a Somali immigrant who sexually assaulted a 12-year-old. Now, back in 2024, this perpetrator was charged after abducting a 12-year-old from her backyard, forcing her into his vehicle, and then sexually assaulting her. He has since been convicted of first-degree criminal sexual assault. Now, after being convicted, his family members were sending letters to the judge to ask the judge.
Oh, what happened?
To consider his character when making that sentencing. And one of those letters came from the Al Hassan Islamic Center. It was actually signed by their executive director, stating that he had to face cultural differences and the challenges of taking on a new culture. They also framed him as a family-oriented man who sends his money oftentimes back to his family members in Somalia. The judge actually gave him the lightest sentencing possible. He is only going to be serving 8 years in jail for this crime. He was sentenced to 12 years, but those last 4 years are going to be spent out of jail and on probation. By the way, going back to that point about the challenges of a different culture, this perpetrator has been in the United States of America since 2006. So he's been in the United States for 19 years. He was born in Somalia, but he has been here for almost 2 decades at this point. However, the culture coming into play when it comes to, as the Islamic Center put it, this situation, the situation, of course, being him sexually assaulting and abducting a 12-year-old girl. So just wanted to give you guys an idea of some of these stories, some of the cultural impact happening here in Minnesota as it relates to the Somali community.
That's crazy, isn't it? Why is he? Yeah, Tony Moon. Tony Moon, I don't know if you guys know who this is. He's one of the roof Koreans from the Rodney King riots back in the day. It says pedo's not given the penalty is one of our gravest injustices. Well, Florida's gonna get after it. Time to go medieval. Yeah. Challenges of another country, some wild PR from countries that forbid child rape. Yeah. Why are we allowing these people to live? Yes. Elon Musk even got something to say about it. So, Islamophobia is a word they like to use to silence things like this. 9-year-old Swedish girl left brain damage after being savagely. Oh no! Oh no! Grady Jug would tell you what's up. Yep. Send more roof Koreans. That's right. Progressive Town says, as a Somali myself, I only have one hole punch left in my rape a 12-year-old, one free card. Maybe you should mind your own business. We are in the FO part of the FAFO equation. Yes, I would say so. It's getting pretty bad. Bad. Minnesota Islamic Center writes gushing letter of support for Somali migrant convicted of raping a 12-year-old. Islamic Center Minnesota penned a gushing letter of support for Somali migrant convicted of raping a 12-year-old girl. Kwalinle Ibrahim Dere, 42, was convicted in May of first-degree criminal sexual conduct after he was found guilty of abducting a girl from her backyard and raping her in June. Wouldn't it? Why? So why wasn't it rape? I don't understand. Following his conviction, Dere's local Islamic Center, the Al Ihsan Islamic Center in St. Paul, submitted a heartfelt letter begging Hennepin County District Court Judge Michael Burns to consider the convicted criminal's character before delivering a sentence. Wouldn't character include what he did to the girl? The letter, titled Community Support Letter for Kwalinle Dere, was penned on behalf of the undersigned members of the Somali community and expressed strong and heartfelt support for the member of our community. Islamic Center wrote that the convicted fellow has faced the challenge of starting over in a new culture and that he's never known an outgoing, family-oriented person before this situation. Letter added the community has witnessed his love for his family and kids. Well, obviously, yeah, he loves kids. He loves raping them. Like, what are you talking about? Letter added the community has witnessed. He sends money back to Somalia to support the rebels. I mean, the people there to buy guns and stuff. He sends money to Mohammed Adid. Yeah, no, this guy needs to get. Oh, he's an active volunteer at the mosque, where he regularly helps female female genital mutilate girls. Oh, okay. He's also been an active volunteer in our mosque, the Islamic Center, where he regularly does things to girls. Ramadan, the Ramadan Ding Dongs, community events. You'll often find him helping elders find rides and help him hold down kids or something. His service is never about recognition. It's about quiet commitment. He keeps them quiet. He covers their mouth when he does the things to them. Feet first. Actually, he should go to South Sudan. Letter was signed by an Ahmed Ansher, the executive director of the Islamic Center. However, no other signatures were on the document. The situation is currently facing comes as a deep shock that does not reflect the man we know. I think it reflects him pretty well. And we respectfully ask this letter be considered as a sincere reflection of who he truly is. They reached out to the Center for comment, and he was charged with rape in July of 2024. Yeah, but it looks like they cut him a deal. They lowered it from rape to this other sexual something or other instead of rape. According to the complaint, the victim said she was playing in the backyard of her family's home in Minneapolis when a man started talking to her from the alley behind the house. The man reportedly asked if the victim's mother was home. The victim said she was not. So he said, "Oh, okay." No, it's not, yeah, right. Allegan News. It says it's not like they don't have an example in their religion of a grown man and a 9-year-old. Yeah, Aisha was her name. Anyone doesn't know, just Google Muhammad and Aisha, and you can figure it all out. Yes, Facebook. Court documents say the man left the scene for a few minutes, but returned about 10 minutes later after putting his hand over her mouth, forcing her into a car, and striking her over the head. The victim said the man drove a short distance, pulled over, and assaulted her in the back seat before she was able to escape and run home. Just days later, the girl's brother saw multiple calls from the guy on the girl's phone that she was not answering. When asked, she told her brother to answer a call with the man who raped her. What the fuck? When he continued calling, the brother answered but did not speak. According to the complaint, he said, "Hey, I miss." Brother hung up and began texting through Snapchat, pretending to be his sister. He made a reference to seeing the girl and to bringing condoms. They later arranged, but when he arrived, he saw the brother and the girl's stepfather waiting in the living room. He tried to flee. The brother blocked his path and called 911. I would think that I would have, once he came in the house, he wouldn't have left if it was my house. But that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say about that. Wrapped? Yeah, say wrapped. Yes. Police showed up and arrested a Somali immigrant. At first, he denied knowing the girl, but later admitted she told me she was 19 years old. He was sentenced last week to serve 12 years in prison, at least the amount of time of prison time recommended by Minnesota sentencing guidelines for a first-degree criminal sexual assault. He's also required to register as a predatory offender. Yeah. Well, according to the Islamic faith, though, if he marries her, wouldn't it be okay? He was born in Somalia. Minnesota law allows him to release in 2033 and remain on probation for the rest of his sentence. He's currently being held in the Minnesota Correctional Facility in St. Cloud. Yeah, he did know it wasn't a cultural thing because he said that, I thought she was 19. So we need Dexter. We do. He was born in Somalia amid the turmoil of the country's civil war and spent his early years in refugee camps in Kenya before immigrating to the United States in 2006. I think didn't someone else come in 2006? Didn't what's her face? Ilhan Omar come in 2006 or something like that too? It's not clear what his immigration status is. Should be catapulted out of the country is what his status should be. On to the next story. We have a man riding at the train in San Francisco was stabbed to death after intervening upon seeing a mother and her children being accosted by a man. Yeah. Yes, he hit her over the head and carries her over a fence while she screams, "I'm 19." Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm sure Ilhan Omar is asking to pardon him. I'm sure. Well, he did not follow faith and did not wait for marriage, but she is not a Muslim, so they're a bit lax on protecting non-Muslims. Yeah. Fargo justice, toes first, slow speed. I concur. People online tell bystanders to intervene. What happens when intervening gets one killed or prosecuted? Does anyone remember when Chris Hansen had that show? That one guy, they started chasing a cat. I'm not going to say what race he was. Big dot. Well, Kanye Hansen told him to grab a towel. Anytime you get in a fight for any reason, you may die. It's just the reality. It's sad he died doing the right thing, and even more sad that the guy that killed him will undoubtedly end up being someone who should have been in prison It was allowed to roam free by the left. Men should be willing to risk their lives to save others, knowing that it entails risk. People in the military and law enforcement do it all the time. Others should not be afraid to pick up the slack. It makes a better world for everyone else. Yeah, well, it's a good Samaritan should be protected if they act to do something. That's what the thing with that happened in New York with that Daniel Penny guy was a disgrace. Yeah, the natural right of U.S. citizens to reasonably defend themselves and others without retreating has been eroded by some states. Should be protected by federal law. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's and because it's California, he couldn't be armed. So San Francisco man stabbed to death while protecting woman, 2 kids from crazed attacker. 28-year-old Colton Kimber was fatally stabbed Saturday while shielding a mother and her 2 children from aggressive stranger. Okay, take off, Rick. I'll see you tomorrow on CFC in the AM. That's right, everybody. Maybe check out, anybody you'll hear, should check out the Council of Future Conflict. It starts at about 9:15, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube and Rumble. 28-year-old San Francisco man was fatally stabbed Saturday while shielding a mother and 2 children from an aggressive stranger. Colton Kimber was described as an avid cyclist and hockey player, stepped in while waiting at a train station with his girlfriend when he saw a man shouting at a nearby family, reportedly yelling phrases like, "Oh, you think you're better than me? You're scared of me?" According to court documents, Kimber decided to position himself so should anything happen, he could intervene and protect those around him. As he stood facing the oncoming train, the attacker allegedly stabbed him in the neck without warning. Oh, I'm sorry, KPT. Should I slow down my talking? No, it wasn't a jazz festival. It was just a, yeah. Sorry, I'll slow down. Someone else told me I talk too fast. I know the Constitution doesn't grant us rights. It prevents the government from violating our rights. Well, it's supposed to say that these are your rights and the government's not allowed to violate them, but government has a tendency to ignore the Constitution and just do whatever they want. It was so horrendous and shocking. The last person I would expect something like that to happen to, said Reuben Sawyer, a friend of Kimber. Kimber worked at the American Cyclery in San Francisco, where he was remembered as a beloved worker and friend. I'm going to miss him for his good nature and his kind spirit. He really lived such an exemplary life. He was a very positive influence on myself and my staff, the shop owner said. He worked here for 3 years, and this up here was his workbench. He repaired bikes and built new bikes. He's totally irreplaceable as a worker, totally irreplaceable as a friend, and a person, someone who had a good influence on my life. The suspect, 29-year-old Sean Collins, has been charged with murder. His arraignment is scheduled for August 14th. Court documents note that Collins received a report concerning his mental health, but his findings has not been disclosed. San Francisco supervisor Cheyenne Shen, who represents the Terraval district, confirmed the incident remains under investigation. A memorial ride in Kimber's honor is scheduled for September 7th around Polo Fields and Golden Gate Park. We love him, we miss him. I'm wondering. Yeah. Well, that's right. If I talked slower, I would be streaming for 7 hours. Yes, it would take me forever. I have to talk quickly to get through as many stories as possible. On to the next story. Stephen Miller confirmed that the statute of limitation has not expired for the Russia collusion hoax. This is huge. Several of the statutes I mentioned, we have not even come close to eclipsing the statute of limitations. But more than that, it's an ongoing, continuing conspiracy, continued through the entire President Trump's first term and through the entirety of Biden's term in office, and continues to this day. There must be consequences. Yes, yes, yes.
Hour and the moment for accountability so that we can reclaim this democracy, Maria.
Well, do you believe we will actually get accountability? We've been demanding accountability now for a decade. Our audience is well aware that this is the biggest political scandal we have ever seen, and an effort to undermine and take down a duly elected president. But now we want to see the tricksters face the consequences.
Get them tricksters. The hobbitses
I
are
have
very
complete
tricksy.
confidence in the Department of Justice to follow these facts, to follow this new, further avalanche of evidence, and to take all the necessary legal steps to ensure that the wrongdoers, the coup plotters, the schemers, and the insurrectionists are held fully accountable under the laws and Constitution of these United States. Yes, Maria, I believe that.
Now, last weekend, John Ratcliffe, CIA director who is a former prosecutor, former DNI, told us that that the statute of limitations, the 5-year statute, does not apply when it comes to conspiracy. And he says the conspiracy is ongoing because they still won't admit it. The conspiracy is still happening. So what is your take on what Ratcliffe told us last week?
Oh, he's completely right. So several of the statutes I mentioned, we have not even come close to eclipsing the statute of limitations. But more than that, it is an ongoing and continuing conspiracy. It continued through the entirety of President Trump's first term. It continued through the entirety of President Biden's term in office. And it continues to this day. There are still deep state coup plotters who are trying to conceal and hide this information on behalf of the people they are protecting. There are still staffers in Democrat offices who know the full truth, who are concealing that truth. So all of this behavior, all of this conduct collectively means the conspiracy hasn't ended, is ongoing. Comey in particular has throughout the years engaged in conduct and lies, public statements, and testimony in front of Congress. False testimony whose sole purpose was to perpetuate and continue the conspiracy. So I have every hope and expectation that the Department of Justice, under the leadership of our courageous Attorney General, will follow these facts and follow the evidence and deliver justice. Because if we have a country where we can continue to have FBI careerists and CIA careerists, deep staters who will fabricate and doctor evidence, who will create and produce fake material, fabricated material, phony information to try to go after their political enemies up to and including the president. If we continue to create the impression and the reality that there is not a severe criminal penalty for such conduct, it will never stop. It will never desist. It will keep on going forever. And we will continue to have a country that is sabotaged endlessly by the production of fake documents, fake material, fake plots against democratically elected officials. We can't have that. There must be consequences.
Well, I mean, it's just extraordinary to me that the mainstream media has completely...
It's crazy, right? It's nuts. Nutso, schizo, nutso. Right. I want to see some bodies behind bars. That's right. I want to see food trays sliding under doors with Big Ray watching, extorting them for coffee. That's the goal. Espionage is still on the table as well. Better be. Yes. And then we have this. CIA Director John Ratcliffe has confirmed that former CIA Director John Brennan, former Director of the FBI James Comey, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton face indictments for their crimes. Do you believe him?
So what I think I hear you saying is there is still an opportunity for indictments, potential prosecutions, accountability from those people who may have lied under oath, like John Brennan, James Comey, and perhaps Hillary Clinton.
Well, that's why I've made the referrals that I have. DNI Gabbard has made referrals.
Yeah.
And why we're going to continue to share the intelligence that would support the ability of our Department of Justice to make fair and just, bring fair and just claims against those who have perpetrated this hoax against the American people and this stain on our country.
Director, one other question on this. Tulsi, as well as President Trump, used the word. So what I think I hear you saying.
Oh, they cut it off because he was going to say that Tulsi Gabbard and President Trump used the word treason. That's treason. Let's see it. Let's just. Oh wait, no, come on. What happened? For the love of God, just arrest somebody. Yeah, this is what needs, right? Yeah, this would be good, right? It's all just talk until somebody gets indicted and prosecuted for this treasonous conspiracy that was concocted by Hillary Clinton and approved by Obama. Without consequences, business as usual will continue in corrupt Washington, D.C. swamp. Yeah, see, what I'm worried about. In action figure. On to the next story. This might be the story of some Democrat voters in New York that might think maybe they should start rethinking who they're voting for, because they say they have more rights than we do, says New York City co-op owners who've been locked in a months-long standoff with a homeless couple living on their building's stoop. Yet Democrats oppose Trump's new executive order that would make it easier for cities to clear outdoor encampments to get people into mental health or addiction treatment. Let's see.
Owners of 311 East 25th Street
Wow.
are in a months-long standoff with an unhoused couple that's been squatting on their stoop.
We pay a lot of money in taxes. It's the bulk of our building's budget for our small, you know what I mean? And yet we feel like they have more rights to inhabit this corner than we do.
Since February, Lisa Palumbo and Mark Sterling have documented how their home has turned into a homeless camp.
Initially, they set it up on the cobblestone, and then once the police told us that if we put up private property signs, they aren't allowed over there.
It grew from an umbrella to a tarp to shipping pallets to mattresses. It grew into an actual house.
Mattresses, pillows, furniture, partitions, and tents have popped up periodically over 4 months. She says by the same two people.
They do drugs, they drink, so there's liquor bottles all over the place, syringes.
Sterling has seen the people passed out from a suspected drug binge and then is forced to pick up drug vials left behind. He's called 911 and 311 too many times to count. Since 24-hour security is too pricey, they recently upgraded the security system and caught the duo dumping trash in front of the building on Monday. While the city has responded with police, homeless outreach, and sanitation, once it's cleared out, they just come back.
The cops come and very pleasantly say, you need to move or we're going to have to, arrest you. So it's just constantly mowing the lawn.
City Hall told Pix 11 multiple city agencies have directed resources in response to quality of life concerns from residents of this location. However, each time the encampment has either been removed or the individuals vacate the space upon engagement. It vows to keep an eye on the eyesore while DHS is working to offer them shelter. But Lisa and Mark want the NYPD to enforce panhandling and loitering laws.
That's why they never leave 25th Street. They won't stay here. I mean, that's what I would think, because if you have no means of income, why would you stay?
Wow. I think mowing the lawn is a euphemism. Basically what he's saying is it's like mowing the lawn. You do it and then they come right back and you got to do it again next week. You got to do it again next week. It's just like a constant thing that keeps happening over and over again. So, New York government hates their citizens but loves criminals, illegals, and transplants. New York is a red state controlled by a blue city. It's disgusting how much control they have when they're not even 20% of the entire population. Democrats enable chaos while Trump fights for order and safety. Deeply concerning that Democrats are obstructing progress at every turn. Trump's new order to clear encampments must prevail. What are you going to do? Cities all over the states, bigger and smaller, the homeless problem is out of control. They have more rights than we do. I believe in civil liberties, but not forcing people to places. But at the same time, the people do work and do pay taxes shouldn't have to put up with this. These people are detrimental to themselves and everyone around them. If a building full of people just gather together and destroy their camp, then literally kick them to the curb, repeat until they get the damn message. You probably would get arrested if you did that. You'd probably get arrested if you did something like that. On to the next story. Meet Michelle Reed. She's a superintendent for the Fairfax County, Virginia School District. She wants to hire a personal security guard at the taxpayer expense, starting at over $84,000 a year. That's more than the starting pay of a teacher in her district. She earns $420,000 a year, plus has a $12,000 a year car allowance. That's more than President Trump makes. She's a radical liberal from Seattle, Washington, who is defying Title IX protections for girls in sport and school. Yeah, look at that. This is when more than $13 million of federal funding for Fairfax was frozen by Trump and the administration. Here's the article. No class, a Virginia school boss raking in over $400,000 a year is under fire from parents for pushing new lavish perks, including a personal bodyguard with a six-figure salary on the taxpayer dime. School chief earned more than Trump, seeks taxpayer from the bodyguard. Queen Reed demands all the luxury suitable to her station. It's all equity for thee, but not for me. Fairfax County Superintendent raking in $424,000 more than the president while demanding a taxpayer-funded bodyguard is peak bureaucratic bloat. Parents are right to raise. This isn't about safety, it's about entitlement. Teachers start at $58K. It reads $143,000 bodyguard role prioritizes their comfort over classroom needs. The FCPS claims equity but funnels cash into Fairfax County Public Schools claims equity but funnels cash into executive perks, not student outcomes. Chicago's larger district doesn't waste funds on personal security for leaders. Why should Virginia's foot this bill? Lavish salaries and six-figure bodyguards expose a system that serves administrators, not families. Cut the waste, fund education, fire the excess. Queen Reed, embattled Virginia school boss, demands personal bodyguard at top lavish salaries and perks. 3 years after leaving a sleepy Seattle suburb to run the school district in Fairfax County, Virginia, Michelle Reed earns more money than the U.S. president, gets a car allowance. Now she wants a taxpayer-funded personal bodyguard. Wasn't Fairfax the one that had all those problems with the trans kids doing stuff to people in bathrooms and when people getting arrested? And isn't that where they sent that Merrick Garland sent the letter and was going to send the FBI to go after the parents who were complaining at the school board meetings? Maybe the new job posting on Brass Ring, an online recruitment platform, the Fairfax County Public Schools Superintendent is advertising for an executive protective agent based at the school district C-suite headquarters at Gatehouse Road, Falls Church, Virginia. Deadline is August 5th for applications. So scandal-plagued school district referred to DOJ after another transgender locker room controversy. The new job could earn between $84,000 and $143,000 according to the Fairfax County Public School Pay Scale. For a unified scale Schedule B grade 06 job, paying far more than the starting salary, about $58,000 for new teachers get from school. Executive protection agent responsible for ensuring the personal safety, security, and operational continuity of the division superintendent across school campuses, public events, official travel, and private residence. But she wants a private security guard to go with her everywhere because the parents are pissed. Oh, that was Loudoun County? Isn't that Fairfax? Isn't that right next door to Fairfax, though, or not the same? I would think it's the same. Look at her. The new position comes at a time when the public schools officials like Reed are facing heightened accountability post-COVID over curriculum, contracts, budgets, and diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. In 2021, the Biden administration targeted parents for charges of alleged domestic terrorism for raising concerns at school board meetings, but new email records have revealed the allegations were overblown and politicized. Yeah, they're adjacent. I thought they were like, it's the next county over. Okay, so it's basically the same place. It's taking over July 1st, 2022. Reed has come under fire for allegedly covering up scandals of improprieties in football recruiting, withholding of National Merit Awards from students, and most recently defying Department of Education orders regarding Title IX protections for girls in sports and schools. The Department of Education Office for Civil Rights just announced that Fairfax County Public Schools and 4 other Northern Virginia school districts, including Loudoun County, violated Title IX protections by discriminating against students on the basis of sex. Last November, the all-Democratic school board voted unanimously to renew Reed's 4-year contract and increase her annual salary to $424,000 from $380,000. So they gave her a $40,000 year. Wow, that's a pretty big raise. $40K, more than the salary of New York City's education chancellor. Board members also gave her a $12,000 annual car allowance. In contrast, the U.S. president earns $400,000. Over her tenure, Reed has been notoriously suspect of leaks, which occurred this week with frustrated school district personnel anonymously raising the alarm bell over the new bodyguard position. The job description notes 3 times that applicants must demonstrate discretion, noting in one mention that applicants must demonstrate a high level of discretion and maintain strict confidentiality in all aspects of the role. This is nuts. It's a 3rd grade teacher. The hiring of a personal bodyguard for school superintendent is unusual, say experts. The 12th largest school district in the U.S., Fairfax County Public Schools, includes 180,000 students and 223 schools. That's the 12th largest school district? 180,000 students? I mean, see, you got LA, Los Angeles, you got New York, Chicago. I mean, aren't all the major cities bigger? Meanwhile, the 3rd largest school district in the country is Chicago Public Schools. It's about double the size serving 322,000 students, 643 schools. Wow, that's actually a lot smaller than it used to be. I remember when there was over 1,000 schools in Chicago Public Schools. They closed a lot of schools. According to the latest data, and its superintendent, also called its chief executive, doesn't have a personal bodyguard. School district spokesman Marianne Ferguson said Chicago Public Schools does not employ a personal bodyguard position for a superintendent CEO. Talk of the new job has angered local parents and school district staffers. Queen Reed demands all the luxury suitable to her station. It's all equity for thee, but not for me. A local mother who has challenged Reed on numerous district policies. They're basically asking for a personal bodyguard or superintendent. That's not normal or customary position. Kenneth Trump, president of the National School Safety and Security Services. Unlike a teacher, the new bodyguard doesn't require a bachelor's degree, but rather any combination of education and experience equivalent to a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, security management, or a related field. In the ad, Reed stipulates the job demands exceptional flexibility with an unpredictable schedule driven by the superintendent's daily activities and security needs. The ad notes must be available for regular hours, including early mornings, evenings, weekends, holidays, travel, and extended on-call duty. The job requires knowledge of protection intelligence, behavioral analysis, and threat mitigation strategies, not to mention skill in surveillance detection, open source intelligence tools, and incident reporting. Reed has had a few requirements for its job as a clear bodyguard detail, ability to remain calm, make sound decisions under pressure, especially in sensitive or high-risk situations. She seems an applicant with experience in threat assessment and protective intelligence and focus on conducting investigations and executive protection and completion of executive protection training. And the media outreach specialist for the district's office insisted nothing was out of the ordinary. Fairfax County Public Schools has long provided a security presence for the superintendent at public-facing events as part of a broader safety framework implemented by the Office of Safety and Security. The Office of Human Resources, led by William Solomon, and the Chief Safety and Security, Brian Lambert, recently collaborated on a new executive protection agent position description. Presley said the role formalizes responsibilities for executive protection, including personal security for the superintendent during various activities, while also supporting a wide array of responsibilities within the Office of Safety and Security that support the entire school division. School district's official explanation did not include any reference to specific threats Reed faces. Kenneth Trump, president of the National School Safety and Security Service based in Cleveland, Ohio, said they're basically asking for a personal bodyguard for the superintendent. That's not normal or customary. He noted the job description is one of the shortest I've ever seen for any school security department job. And the job boils down to a one-liner, looking for executive protection at work, public events, travel, and private residences. He said it does not reference other duties, which one would expect if indeed the job extends to other tasks. There's not even typical and other duties as assigned on the posted job description, which could encompass other tasks beyond the executive protection of the superintendent. Brasley said the new job is designed to bolster their work, identifying, assessing, and mitigating risks of targeted violence against students, staff, and schools. No, it sounds like it's just for risks to the superintendent. Wouldn't that be the job of the police to prevent violence against the schools? There's no mention of students, staff, or schools in job description. Brasley said the protection of the superintendent is a component of the role, but the role participates in larger security and investigative initiatives across the district, such as ongoing implementation of a new emergency response system and weapons screening. There's also no mention of new emergency response system or weapons screening in the job posting. So they're lying, trying to cover their tracks. On to the next story. Senate Democrats tried to extort President Trump for $1 billion just to confirm his nominees. Trump's response? Go pound sand. Here's what Senator Mullins just revealed and what's coming next. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, I've spoken to President Trump a lot in the past 24 hours. Senate Democrats demanded $1 billion in pet projects to move forward as nominees. Trump told them to pound sand, no deal. Let that sink in. Democrats are holding up government appointments unless Trump gives them $1 billion taxpayer-funded bribe. That's not governing. That's ransom. This isn't about partisanship. It's about breaking the cycle of swamp blackmail. Every delay, another day Americans get stuck with. Vacant leadership, bureaucratic chaos, and backroom deals. Mullins said that Trump had had enough. The GOP is now preparing to change Senate rules to end this obstruction racket once and for all. The left insists on playing dirty. Will change the rules they've abused. Swamp's playbook is obstruct, delay, demand cash, blame Trump. We've done playing along. No more payoffs, no more just hostage politics, just results. Mark this moment. The Senate rule changes are coming. Swamp's extortion scheme just hit a wall, and that wall is President Trump. Stay tuned. The fight's just getting started.
We're wrapping up a long push here. It's late Saturday night, and the whole fight's been trying to break this filibuster that Chuck Schumer has insisted. And what it's all about is President Trump's nominees, getting them in place. And every president has the right to put their cabinet together and to put their people in place to run agencies, run certain departments, or their ambassadors. The problem we have here is President Trump's the first president in history that has not had any of his civilian nominees go through by voice vote or unanimous consent. Most time what happens is there's a huge package put together. For instance, 98% of George Bush 41 was put through in one package or either by voice vote or unanimous consent. Bill Clinton, same thing. Obama, same thing. Large group of them gone through. And what you see here with Donald Trump, their hatred towards Donald Trump is just completely polarized our ability to put these people in place. Now, at the same time, we've, I think, completed 136 nominees. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. And this time in 2017, we'd only completed 55. So we're way ahead, but they still filibustered every single one of them. So President Trump started trying to negotiate with Chuck Schumer, trying to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We'll make a deal with you guys. Just let my noms, especially the non-controversial ones. I mean, these nominees that no one even knows what they do, but I mean, we know what they do, but the American public doesn't know what they do. But these non-controversial noms, let them be pushed through. Let them go on. And what do you need? What's the price for it? They wanted over $1 billion. $1 billion for special pet programs. That's unheard of. And President Trump told them to go pound sand. He said, we're not doing it, go pound sand. After 3 days of negotiating, I mean, I'm talking about tough negotiations. Finally, President Trump said, go pound sand, forget it. Senate, go home. Let's regroup. When we come back, we're going to change the rules. So what we're doing right now is, even though we're not going to be voting for the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at changing the Senate rules. Because
why not just change them now then?
Right,
that's a bunch of bullshit.
We can do it the hard way or the easy way. They're insisting. Chuck Schumer's insisting us doing it the hard way.
They took the easy way. They just left. They could have just called a recess and let Trump make recess appointments. That's what they could have did.
And I guess.
But they didn't.
We're living to fight another day.
And
God bless you.
right after this, we're going to show you why they did it.
Hopefully, I'll see you back in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Right after this, we're going to show you why they didn't. Actually, President Trump was far more precise and direct. Yeah. America needs less employed citizens and more unemployed politicians. Yeah, but we'll show you right now what's going on. Why? Here's Stewart explaining how he's preventing Trump from making recess appointments. Johnson refusing the president as well. I want you to see this, all right? I want you to look, all right? Pay very close attention to who's sitting behind John Thune. You got Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, the two people who have voted against every one of Trump's nominees. These two people right here, Traitor 1 and Traitor 2, all right? And they're going to shake their head. And
Tuesday, August 5th at 1, Friday, August 8th at 1:05, Tuesday, August 12th at 8 a.m., Friday, August 15th at 10:15 a.m.
See, you're looking at it going, yes, that's right. We're going to recess, and you can't know recess appointments.
12 p.m. noon, and Friday, August 29th.
So this is them. See, they're talking to each other. This is who's running the Senate. These two old hags that are Democrats pretending to be Republicans. They need to go fast. They need to be primaried out. Goodbye. I don't care. So what? What do we need Collins for? What do we need Murkowski for? We don't. They voted against every single one of President Trump's nominees. Those two. Every one. And they're right behind Thune. That's who Thune's working with. Thune should strip them of committees and be like, yep, you're no longer on any committees. Fuck off. But he is not a friend of Trump. Thune is a piece of shit, and Trump needs to force a recess. Yes, he does. He needs to throw the gauntlet down. Bring Mike Johnson and say, you need to call for a recess so we can do this, and so I can demand a recess. Because the president has the authority to actually, if the if the House goes to recess and the Senate doesn't, he can actually force the Senate into recess. This is ridiculous right here.
August the 29th, it stand adjourned until 3 p.m. on
Look at her all
Tuesday,
giggly and
the
laughing. Look at her, ha 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 ha.
RBD and
Susan
discourse.
Collins, shaky
Should
Collins.
Proceedings be approved today. The time for the two leaders be reserved for the use later in the day in the Senate resume. The motion to proceed to calendar number 115 S2296, finally notwithstanding Rule 22.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. That's getting screwed over. President authority to adjourn Congress. Constitutional provision, Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution states that if the House and the Senate disagree on the time of adjournment, the President may adjourn them to such time as he shall think proper. This could theoretically allow the President to force a recess long enough over 10 days to make recess appointments. Alternative appointment mechanism. The President might use other authorities such as the acting appointments under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act of 1998 to temporarily fill positions without Senate confirmation. This isn't bypassing pro forma sessions, but sidesteps the need for recess appointments. Trump would need Johnson or Thune to help him, and both of them are screwing him over. That's right. And just look at the two rhinos behind him who are actually running the Senate. The Senate. Thune's procedural gridlock on confirmation is classic DC dysfunction. With 160 plus nominees stalled, Senate Democrats weaponizing delays, and Republicans like Johnson refusing to adjourn, Trump's push to cancel recess is the only move forcing accountability. The Senate's failure to streamline confirmations despite past precedents under Obama and Bush proves bureaucratic inertia always trumps efficiency. Taxpayers foot the bill for the circus while agencies rot with acting leaders. Yeah, it needs to stop, man. Time to torch the red tape, confirm the nominees, and end the charade. Right. It's bad enough that Thune has deliberately moved at a snail's pace to confirm Trump's nominees. The fact that both he and Mike Johnson are doing pro forma sessions, which exists entirely to block recess appointments, shows that permanent Washington is deliberately obstructing Trump, his nominees, and his agenda. Yeah, the Republican Senate is doing pro forma sessions to intentionally prevent President Trump from doing recess appointments is extreme political violence by John Thune against MAGA. That's right. Mm-hmm. It's shameful. John Thune and Mike Johnson are enemies of the American people, the Constitution, and enemies of the Republic. Domestic enemies, yeah. Thune's playing Mitch's game, stall Trump, protect the swamp, and hope we don't notice, but we do notice, and we won't forget. Yeah. Betrayal doesn't wear a donkey. Sometimes it masquerades in elephant hide. Rhinos, Republicans in name only, are the venomous insiders eroding the GOP from within, selling out the globalists, woke elites, and power-hungry cabals, while true conservatives fight for the American soul. They are not just weak, they are weapons against us. The Pure Manifesto exposed them. Share widely. Yeah, that's the main one right there. Look at him. Mitch the bitch Romney. Mitch McConnell, the turtle tyrant of the Senate, has masqueraded the art of obstruction disguised as leadership. He blocked Trump's agenda on key votes, funneled billions to Ukraine while ignoring our borders, and endorsed establishment hacks over MAGA warriors. His wife's Chinese ties, a conflict of interest that reeks of foreign influence peddling. He's the gatekeeper who locks out real reform. Yeah, scumbag right there. He needs to go. Mm-hmm. Mitch Romney, the flip-flopping chameleon from Massachusetts, betrayed the party by voting to impeach Trump twice, siding with Democrats in their witch hunts. He marches in BLM parades, pushes amnesty for illegals, and profits from Bain Capital's outsourcing of jobs. Romney isn't conservative. He's a corporate globalist in Mormon's clothing, weakening the base for personal gain. That's right. Liz Cheney, the warmongering witch of Wyoming, turned her back on the GOP to join Pelosi's January 6th kangaroo court. She peddled lies about insurrection to sabotage Trump, all while her daddy's Halliburton cronies profited from endless wars. Cheney represents the neocon dynasty that bleeds America dry, a rhino royalty we must dethrone. Adam Kinzinger, the weepy warrior from Illinois, cried crocodile tears on TV while betraying his constituents. He voted for impeachment, chilled for Ukraine aid over American vets, and now cashes in as a CNN puppet. Kinzinger's country first is code for establishment first, a self-righteous fraud who deserted the battlefield for media fame. Paul Ryan, the budget-cutting betrayer from Wisconsin, promised fiscal conservatism but delivered omnibus spending sprees that ballooned the debt. As Speaker, he undermined Trump's wall, pushed TPP trade deals that gutted jobs, now sits on Fox News boards, profiting from the swamp he helped flood. Ryan's Ayn Rand facade hides a big government enabler. Yeah, he's on Fox's board, and that's why Fox keeps screwing Trump over left and right. Lindsey Graham, the South Carolina serpent, talks tough on TV, but folds like a lawn chair. He blocked Trump's judicial picks early on, pushed endless foreign wars, and flip-flops on immigration reform to appease donors. Graham's Best Friend Act with John McCain was code for neocon loyalty, a fair-weather ally who stabs MAGA in the back when it counts. He's getting primaried. Lindsey Graham's getting primaried. Mike Pence, the pious pretender from Indiana, certified the stolen 2020 election despite fraud evidence, betraying Trump and millions of voters. His January 6 cowardice handed power to Biden. Now he runs failed campaigns preaching civility while the country burns. Pence's faith is selective, loyal to the establishment, not the people. That's right. Kevin McCarthy, the California climber, promised to fight as speaker, but caved on debt ceilings, funded Biden's agenda, and purged MAGA voices like Marjorie Taylor Greene from committees. He prioritized Ukraine over our economy, all while schmoozing with big tech donors. McCarthy's ouster was justice, a spineless rhino who climbs ladders built on betrayal. Susan Collins, the Maine moderate mirage, votes with Democrats on abortion, gun control, the Supreme Court confirmations like Ketanji Brown Jackson. She torpedoes Trump's agenda. What the hell? You torpedo Trump's agenda on healthcare repeal and push climate hysteria bills. Collins isn't pro-life or pro-gun. She's a liberal GOP drag, diluting the party for coastal elite approval. Lisa Murkowski, Alaska's energy enemy, blocked Trump's drilling initiatives, voted to convict an impeachment, and supports ranked choice voting to rig elections against conservatives. Her family ties to lobbyists scream corruption, and she sides with Biden on infrastructure pork. Murkowski is a resource-rich state saboteur, prioritizing green deals over American energy independence. Yeah, she's lost two primaries. She lost two primaries, Republican primaries, and somehow was able to win as a third-party candidate. And the only reason she's been, and then she championed the ranked choice, which is the only reason she's been able to stay in. John Kasich, the Ohio opportunist, ran against Trump in 2016, spewing compassionate conservatism, code for open borders and global trade sellout. He vetoed heartbeat bills, endorsed Biden in 2020, and now shills for CNN. Kasich's bipartisanship is betrayal, weakening the GOP for his never-Trump ego trip. The Bush dynasty, George W. and Jeb epitomized rhino royalty. W's wars and Patriot Act expanded the surveillance state. Jeb pushed Common Core and amnesty. They endorsed Hillary and Biden, profiting from family ties to globalists. The Bushes built the swamp Trump drains. Aristocrat traders who view conservatives as peasants. You know, and else a lot of people don't realize is that they're actually related to Barack Obama. They're cousins. Nikki Haley, the South Carolina shapeshifter, talks MAGA but votes for UN globalism, pushes corporate tax cuts over worker protections. And now she runs anti-Trump campaigns funded by Democrats. Her Boeing board seat screams conflict, and she flip-flops like Confederate flags for wokeness. Haley is an ambitious rhino eyeing power over principle. Chris Christie, the New York bluster king, hugged Obama during Sandy photo ops, torpedoes Trump's 2016 transition, and now tours as a never-Trump attack dog on TV. His Bridgegate scandal exposed vindictive corruption, and he pushes gun control while ballooning state debt. Christie isn't tough. He's a bully betraying the base for relevance. These rhinos aren't anomalies. They're calculated infestations designed to neuter the GOP's fighting spirit. From McConnell's obstruction to Haley's ambition, they serve the uniparty elite, not we the people. True conservatives must primary them, expose them, and reclaim the party. Share this thread, ignite the purge. America First demands it. And on to the next story. We've got drunken Dem mayor seems intoxicated, seen an intoxicated jaw-dropping body cam video. Wow. And to be fair, less of the symptoms are alcohol, more power, significant quantities of both. Drunken mayor, Dem mayor, seen intoxicated jaw-dropping body cam makes shock move amid calls for resignation. Months after the shocking body cam footage shows her stumbling, slurring, confessing to drinking vodka before driving her toddler home from daycare, New Jersey Democrat Mayor Gina LaPlaca is back in office, claiming she's sober. Despite being charged with driving while intoxicated and second-degree child endangerment, LaPlaca made a stunning return to the Lumberton Township Committee, declaring, "Today marks my 59th day of sobriety. I was discharged after successfully cleaning 54 days of inpatient treatment. I am now undergoing intensive outpatient treatment 3 hours a day, 5 days a week." Her comeback has left many in South Jersey town reeling, especially after viral footage captured the mayor's March 17 arrest. In a chaotic scene outside her $640,000 home, officers confronted her after a 911 call reported her BMW 5 Series swerving across the road, nearly striking a utility pole, all while her 2-year-old son was in the back seat. La Placa, visibly intoxicated, staggered into the street and admitted to officers she's been drinking a little bit of vodka. She failed multiple sobriety tests. Police found open containers of alcohol in her vehicle. "I'm sorry," La Placa said tearfully as she was handcuffed. An officer gently responded, "That's okay." Gina La Placa, mayor. After being censured by her own committee and being urged to resign by both the New Jersey governor, Phil Murphy, and her fellow committee members, La Placa has refused to step down and instead made a defiant return, leaning on her recovery journey as justification to remain in office. On Saturday, she doubled down on social media posts praising Interior Secretary turned New Mexico gubernatorial candidate Deb Haaland for her own public sobriety. Kudos to Deb Haaland not only for her 35 years of sobriety, but also for speaking openly about her struggles with alcohol addiction. Shame on anyone who thinks a person in recovery can't continue to serve their community. Many in Lumbertown said the issue isn't recovery, but accountability. The township meeting following the arrest, residents lined up to demand La Placa's registration, citing concerns about her judgment. She is compromising the position of our law enforcement. She needs to resign. Others called her manipulative, narcissistic, and accusing her of bringing another black guy to our town. If you're like me, you're inundated with text messages from candidates who've never heard of begging for money. I typically leave them, but this one stuck with me. Kudos to Deb Haaland, not only for her 35 years of sobriety, but also for speaking openly about her struggles with alcohol. Well, that's kind of racist, isn't it? Because Deb Haaland's a Native American Indian, to have struggles with the firewater. Isn't that kind of racist, like stereotypical, like beyond belief? I have achieved 35 years of sobriety. Most people running for office would never choose to speak openly about the firewater fiasco that entailed my youth. I am a 35th generation New Mexican. What? Proud member of the Laguna Pueblo and former U.S. Secretary of the Interior, and I'm running to be the next governor of New Mexico. My journey in sobriety taught me one thing: firewater makes wampum very difficult. Stumbling out of her vehicle, doing this. Tell you what, she's not fat. I mean, she's pretty thin. I wonder if she got weird color hair though, so it's fake hair color. But I wonder if she's married. No, not married. There she is posting with a picture of the whatever Village Idiot Brewing Company. Placa, the Democrat mayor, has seen one of her Facebook photos, stumbling to say her word. Her 2-year-old son sitting in the back of the car when they. I have a feeling she's not married. Probably divorced. My personal opinion is for the mayor to step down. Town officials said their hands are tied. New Jersey removing an elected official from office is legally difficult unless they are convicted of a disqualifying crime or recalled by voters. The recall effort is now underway and organized needing signatures of at least 25% of the registered voters to force a special election. Earlier this year, La Placa's husband, former West Hampton fire chief, urged the public to back off. Oh, she is married then, arguing that her personal struggle shouldn't define her legacy. So he's a simp. It's not like she's a, why wasn't he? He should have been taking care of her kid then. It's weird too that they don't use it's her husband, but he has a different last name than her, so she doesn't use his last name. It's not like she's the mayor of some big city, he said. It's just a small town. Who cares if she's drunk? All I want is for my wife to get better and everyone to leave her alone. The backlash has not calmed down, especially after it emerged that La Placa had previously been arrested in 2023 for allegedly assaulting Cartney, a charge that was later dismissed and expunged. Oh, so she got drunk and beat him. So he's an abused husband, so that's why he's saying it. She just beats him, and he has to say what she wants, otherwise she'll get him. She also abruptly resigned from her job as Neptune Township business administrator just a week before the DUI incident. In early March, she was slammed after she had an outburst at a town meeting and cursed at one of the attendants. Yeah, she thinks she's Wonder Woman, all right. The footage of the incident shows slurring mayor being escorted out of the meeting, as she called the woman being an effing something. Why don't we condone this behavior and keep electing her? He is a narcissist manipulator. So she was drunk at a meeting. She was drunk at a meeting and said a bunch of stuff and resigned from that board, but then got arrested for DUI, and she's also the mayor. So that's a lot of things, too, that I don't like. A lot of these small towns, these people have like 4 or 5 different positions, and they get paid for each one, so they're not making a ton of money. Well, considering that we did not reach the goal at all again tonight, we only got 1 super chat out of 15. I think we're going to call it quits here at 1 hour and 56 minutes. So I'll see you all again Monday night, where we can try again for a 4-hour show. Thank everybody who was here. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you would like to subscribe, or if you've been here before, or whatever, and see what happens with stuff and stuff. So we'll do some things. Oop. No problem. It just is what it is. We'll do things the better we do. We'll see what happens. Keep talking about some stuff. 1 second. Oh, okay. Okay. So thank everybody. Please hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment in the algorithm, and please be on the lookout for more shorts that are going to be coming your way soon. And join the Discord. There you go. Goals, schmoles, I know, but it is what it is.